Right, hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today it's going to be another Asmus Toys unboxing video, and if you watch the last one, you'll know exactly what this is, and also by the title and thumbnail, but it is the Lord of the Rings Elven Warrior. Previous video was the Elven Archer. Now, one thing I'm going to say is if you've watched the last one, it will mainly be the same, except for the accessories. So, again, if you want to click through to the timestamps, feel free to do so, just to see any of the differences. And make sure you go to the accessories section. But for anyone that's new and has been interested in this one in particular, we will go through it bit by bit. So without further ado, let's just jump in and talk about the first thing, which is packaging. Again, the box, decent size. It does fit in with the Lord of the Rings theme that they have going for all of their characters. So stylistically, they all do blend in very well with each other. If you have them in storage, if you do want to display them, that's completely up to you. But the box for me, with the artwork on the front, or the picture of the actual figure, doesn't really do anything for me. So it's not one that I'd take pride in displaying. But overall, I do like the thematic style that you have for all of the characters. Next thing I want to get into is what's actually in the box. And as you're going to see, everything laid out in plastic trays, as per usual. And the Elven Warrior right there. And that's the one thing I want to take a look at before we get into any accessories. So let's just jump in. You'll see face details are great. And the likeness is the exact same as the Elven Archer. And it's not really based off anyone. So again, it is a very generic head sculpt. It's a good head sculpt, but generic. They all do look the same, as if they're like clones. Which is a shame. It would have been quite nice to have like tiny different details, so then it would make it more unique to get one. But as far as I can tell, they are pretty identical. You can't remove the chainmail to reveal any elven ears or anything like that. They just don't exist. But the face works very well for Middle-earth elves, to be honest. So you can set him up with poses, either with the helmet on, or with the cloak on. So you can actually have the cape with the hood, or you can just wear the helmet. Like I said with the Elven Archer, the cape/robe design is fantastic. I would recommend it a hell of a lot more than any of the Hot Toys ones that have the metal wiring just around the sides. They seem to break a lot easier. They're a bit finicky when it comes to positioning, but these can, ravel in a way, any way that you want, really. It doesn't really feel like you're fighting with it to actually get it to work. But the next thing we're going to talk about is what's right in front of the cape, the armor itself. When you look at pictures online, you might think, oh, it's going to turn out a bit yellowy. It doesn't look that gold. But in person, they do pop out a hell of a lot more than some of the pictures. And that was what really surprised me. When I bought these, I was thinking, I'm buying them just to review, and then I'll probably just get rid of them. But no, I was very pleasantly surprised. So I do have 4 in total. I'm going to be keeping 2, selling the other 2. But no, I don't think there's anything else they could have really done with the armor. It's top level, like the best armor I think I have in my collection. Like, it rivals Hot Toys, if not better. But the next part I want to talk about is the articulation itself. It can be a bit of an issue. On paper, seems pretty good, 34 points. But when it actually comes to it, the heavy armor and the accessories that you can have in the hands really does make it difficult to move the arms about. Sometimes if he's carrying a sword, the arms feel quite loose, so the arm will just plop down like that. So you have to position it in a way where it's not fully up and just a little bit like there. So yeah, that is the one thing I will say. It feels a lot weaker than what you'd expect. And the other difficult part is the feet. This is what I complained about in the last video. When you actually look at the ankles, it does look silly, like a Lego foot, just like a little clip-on ankle. Which again, I understand that's supposed to be for better movement of the ankles, so you can position the feet better. When you look at it, really takes away from the immersion. But again, it does get covered up by the armor, so it's not something you have to deal with all the time. And then secondly, what those ankles do is when you want to position him just standing by himself, if he's got anything in his hands, it will just collapse. I've tried to record it going around on my rotator, and every single time, instantly, straight down on the floor. Which, again, not what I wanted, because I didn't want to have any damage, which luckily it didn't. But for the whole video, I did just have to use a stand. I did not want to do because I just wanted to get the figure involved. But again, that's what I had to do. So I just thought I'd share that with you today. Now, next thing I want to jump into is the accessories. Now, again, compared to the Elven Archer, you get a little bit less. But I think what you do get is better, I'd say, stylistically, which that's what I'm going to get into right now. I think posing with the sword that you get with this one in particular does look a hell of a lot cooler than with the bow. Now, again, I'll let you decide. I'm going to have them side by side. But I think movie-wise, there's a lot more scenes of them with the sword. And it just, I don't know, it just looks a lot more like ready for action than having a bow. Because it's a lot more difficult to pose with the bow, you know, trying to stretch the arm out. With the weak joints, it just makes it look like you can't do it as well. But with the sword, you can have it at an angle where they are ready to go. You also get a sword holster, which again, you can tie that on yourself, which I think is a very nice detail. It can be a bit intricate and difficult. So yeah, just take your time. Try not to break the plastic clip as you thread the leather through. But yeah, accessories wise, you get that, the shield and the spear. So it's almost identical to the Elven Archer, except for you're trading a bow for a sword. So if I was to buy one out of the two, I would more than likely go for the Warrior. Again, you get a tiny bit less, but I just think the sword is so cool, to be fair. So before we get into the pros and cons, let's go into the side-by-side comparison. And now, bang, there we go, Elven Warrior with the Elven Archer. And like we've discussed before, they are identical. So not many differences other than the fact that one's got a bow, one's got a sword, one has an arrow pack, and one has a sword holster. But yeah, together, they can really bring out another character. I think if you have these two behind, you can really build a lot more scenes in your cabinet. And I think that's what they're there for, because they was on the cheaper end of Asmus Toys. And there is a lot more. So you get 1,500 Elven Warriors in existence, 1,500 Elven Archers in existence. That is primarily just so people can build up their cabinet, make it look like there's a couple fight scenarios happening. So yeah, I think that's essential if you want to have a really nice display. You're going to see the Elven Warrior pose with Legolas. Now again, it's very nice just to see the elves together. And now one more, also from the Fellowship, just like Legolas. We have Aragorn and the Elven Warrior. Which, again, you could recreate a Battle of Helm's Deep, where the elves come to help. You could have the Legolas and Aragorn with the Elven Archer. Make it even more Helm's Deep-like. But overall, let's get into the pros and cons. Pros, nice face sculpt. Beautiful armor. The cape and how they've managed to craft that, and just so you can do it at your own leisure, I think that's phenomenal. Better than Hot Toys in that regard, 100% better. I think the sword is very cool. Like the accessories, like I say, with the spear and the sword, again, the detail and how real they feel with like the metal, it really does add to it. It's just being able to see the shine come off it. Oh, yeah, fantastic. But the cons, the ankles, is the root of the problem for both of the last figures we've reviewed. Again, the look of them and the actual sturdiness of them has been an issue. So you can't really make them stand by themselves without a stand. And they just look like Lego. But overall, how am I going to rate the Elven Warrior? I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10. Absolutely. I think incredible value for money. And I think it really does bring out a Lord of the Rings collection. I wouldn't get these if you're just starting a Lord of the Rings collection. But I think you should get them if you've already got a couple and you just want to add a little bit more to your Middle-earth. But anyway, let me know your thoughts on the video. If you own one yourself, please feel free to drop below if I've missed anything. If you don't own one and you're interested, feel free to ask some more questions and I'll be sure to get round and answer any of those. If there's anything else that you're curious about, be sure to drop that comment and I will make YouTube shorts in relation to your question. So if there's something else you want to see, if there's something I've missed, I'll be more than happy to upload a separate little 10-second video just to go over that. But if you are interested, these will be listed on my eBay. I own 4. These two that I've reviewed will be staying in my collection. The other two I have not got out the box yet. I did think I was going to be doing some character building, but I don't think my cupboard's big enough to have 4 of them. So I'm going to be selling 2, unfortunately. But I'll have more than likely best prices on the market for what you get, which is everything included. And if there's any questions, feel free to let me know. But be sure to check that out in the description below. But anyways, we will see you in the next one.